where you want it.
Bay 12, please.
Hello there, Transformers fans. Welcome back to another Bay 12 video review. Today we are reviewing the new Transformers Legacy Evolution Trashmaster. And I wonder if we'll get a animated universe Wreck-Gar retool out of Trashmaster, because he's a big Junkion garbage truck. And if you aren't familiar with the Transformers animated universe Wreck-Gar, he was also a garbage truck, which was a pretty cool choice for him. And I really loved when he was just pulling random stuff out of his little garbage bin backpack that he had. And if we can get a repaint slash retool of Scraphook and Towline and make that work, I think an animated universe Wreck-Gar as a repaint and retool of this guy isn't too far off either. Anyway, here he is in the packaging. You've got some artwork of his garbage truck mode there on the front. On the side, you've got a close-up and a full body shot of him in his robot mode. On this side, you've got that Legacy Evolution banner art. And on the back, you've got some images of him in both robot mode, garbage truck mode, but also how he breaks apart into pieces and how you can mix and match some of the other Junkion pieces, not only in alt mode like it shows right here, but also in robot mode. And then of course there's also the Junkasaurus combiner that you get to make with all the Junkions, which I've kind of come up with my own take on it that I kind of like, where it's pretty cool and somewhat stable. The biggest issue is stability with these combiners that we make with just bits and pieces, like with the Fossilizer combiner and now with Junkasaurus. Hopefully there's still some more Junkions coming so that it's even bigger and better maybe, but I think the concept of a Junkasaurus scrappy big junky combiner with just an amalgamation of Junkion parts is a pretty cool concept. And here are all of the new Junkions based off of the new Legacy Evolution Junkion play pattern. So here we have Scraphook, we have Crash Bar, Axle Grease, Towline, and now Trashmaster. There's 5 Junkions. Now, making them all individual limbs is kind of tricky because this is going to be very asymmetrical. And while you can try and have some symmetry to Junkasaurus, especially if you're trying to go based off of how Marclonis's was or how some of the other reviewers have done it, you can kind of pull off a somewhat cohesive, symmetrical Junkasaurus. But I like how, with all of the Junkions being asymmetrical and various junk and scrappy bits, I like Junkasaurus also kind of reflecting that as well. So hopefully you guys like how I build Junkasaurus, but that'll be later towards the end. Here they all are in robot mode though, just for comparison, so you can see them all standing side by side. And here is Trashmaster in robot mode. He's got the barred windows there, or barred windshield, as his chest piece. I like the head sculpt. Kind of reminds me of a Junkion take on Bulkhead a little bit there. I love how he's got these blaster barrels on the side of his hand there, and that's on both hands. That's pretty symmetrical. I also like the big claw mouth, chomp teeth, which this piece makes the head for Junkasaurus, which is pretty cool. Although it doesn't have any eyes. Doesn't have any eyes, which is kind of interesting. You also have these little trash arm for when they grab the big dumpsters and things and then dump them over the top. You have these. They don't articulate very much. You really just have the spot where you plug it into the side of the truck mode and on his robot mode, and that's kind of it. You get a peg going in that way, you get a peg going out the other way, and that's basically all you get there. The front end of the truck just kind of makes his butt, which is interesting because for robot mode it just kind of hangs back here, and you can use these pieces for Junkasaurus. It's interesting in the way I use them, but I don't know. I just thought it was a weird choice the way they designed the bumper. I know it was so that you could keep the play pattern of swapping out the fronts of the vehicles and it also being compatible being a Voyager class, they wanted to keep it relatively close in size to the Deluxes, I imagine, just so they could keep it there. But just in robot mode, you're just left with him having this dump truck. Yeah, that's that's the best way to describe it. The dump truck has a dump truck. So, okay. The legs are kind of cool and interesting. He is fully articulated. His head does move all the way around on a ball joint. Fully articulated shoulders, in and out. Upper bicep, single jointed elbows, wrist swivel. These hip panels go up and down. Waist swivel, hips, upper thigh, single jointed knees, forward and back ankles, side to side ankle, and that's pretty much it for robot mode articulation. He does also disassemble quite a bit, not quite as much as the Deluxes though, because like his arms don't come off. You can of course take this piece off and the jaw off if you're not careful. It just clicks on though, so that goes back on real easy. You can take these pieces off. You can take his legs off at the knee. You can take his dump truck off. And as far as disassembly, that's pretty much as far as you can take Trashmaster, which I wish he disassembled more, or at least as much as the other guys, especially concerning Junkasaurus. But it's still a pretty cool design. I really like this Junkion. I like all of the new Junkion designs a lot, but I also really like this one. I'm glad that they went with a big truck type mode, and I'm glad they went with a garbage truck because it's very fitting, especially for Junkions. Transformation is pretty simple and straightforward. You want to start by taking this off if you haven't already and just kind of setting it to the side for now. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to push that head in all the way like so. Bring that piece up, bring these arms up, untab the shoulder section from the torso, rotate that arm all the way around so it's facing that way, and then clip this piece into there, securing that section together. Do the same thing over here, bring that over, oh wait, other way. Bring that over, tab that into place, and then these arms are going to tab together, and then just make sure that the fists are facing out this way, where these blaster barrels are facing straight back like so. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to lift these waist pieces. We're going to rotate this waist section all the way around, and then we're going to untab this waist section up here, fold up the feet onto what was the shins, peg the legs together, and then peg the arms to the legs like so. Push that waist up just a little bit more, and then bring this section back. That's going to tab into the legs. Bring this section up. The dump truck is going to tab into the front of the dump truck, and then we can rotate the little arms forward, which is why I also wish we got at least another piece to kind of join these together, or at least a piece that pegs onto each piece, giving it the forks for when it slides into the dumpster. They could have been some cool energy blades or some just regular bladed type weapons, something just going forward right there, just giving it a little bit more to the dump truck, because it just feels like a chunk of it's missing, you know? Just doesn't feel complete having them in just right here, because this isn't how the arms stop. Now you can have these arms on either way, but honestly this is the right way to do it, and it looks the best this way anyway. Last step is to take this piece right here. These two pegs are going to go over the fists, or into the fists rather. So just kind of put that on there, and then the little peg holes where the jaw is, those are going to sit right in between the barrels of the fists, completing the back of the garbage truck. So it's got this cool big jaw section on the back where the trash is stored, which I really like. It just doesn't seem like it's a functional garbage truck, if you know what I mean. Still awesome looking. I love all the little chain and spike details like on the rest of the Junkions in this set. A lot, even on this guy. I just wish he was more garbage truck looking, because I get it, he's an alien garbage truck, or maybe even a Cybertronian garbage truck. that's been Mad Maxed to it be adapted to live on Junkion, but regardless, it's a cool design. It just feels like it's missing something. I can't quite put my finger on it. It just feels like it's missing something for its alt mode. And here are the 5 Junkions side by side in their alt mode. And they look really awesome side by side in their alt mode. It's so weird looking at a set of Junkions and only one of them is a motorcycle, considering all of the original Junkions were motorcycles. I mean, except for Detritus, who was a Jeep, but he was never on screen. The only Junkions we ever saw on screen in Generation 1 were all motorcycles. So it wasn't until later that Hasbro and Takara started branching out and adding other alt modes and other varieties of Junkions into the mix, which these are a nice, I think, refreshing take on Junkions, which is why I like these figures so much. And like I said, I hope there's a few more of these guys in the works, or at least one more motorcycle, one more like crash bar here in the works, just to kind of even out Junkasaurus a little bit, because you'll see my take on Junkasaurus, how I assemble it, and know what I mean by I want another one of these guys, because I think these guys are definitely the best for arms, which is why you see in Mark Clonus's, he used this one, and apparently a prototype of Crash Bar. Prototype. I don't know if that's actually true when it was a prototype of Crash Bar, or maybe he was just saying that because maybe there's another Crash Bar type coming in the future. Who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see if that ever happens. But if it does, and I hope it does, it'll definitely make Junkasaurus fuller and cooler looking. Now, for Junkasaurus, here's how I do it. First, we're going to start by separating these guys out. These guys are the legs, and what we're going to do is we're going to take off their extra bits here, because these are going to be used elsewhere. Now, these I like to use for the back. Just on mine, I like to have them kind of like how Godzilla has his fins on his back. I kind of like to have them like that on Junkasaurus's back. So you're going to take these guys, you're going to separate them out. Next, you're going to pull on that front bumper section on these guys. Now, I usually leave the... Oh, no, I guess I took that all the way off. I usually like to leave the blasters in place on these. You can take them off and put them in different spots in case you want to decorate or have a different aesthetic going on. And then you're going to untab this section right here, and then we're not going to disassemble these two any further. We're really just arranging them, and as you can see, they have a pretty cool leg looking mode. We're really just arranging them into legs. Now, you could also do that with axle grease here. There's nothing saying you can't get duplicates of these guys and do other Junkion combinations or other Junkasaurus combinations. We're going to take those off of her. But you can totally turn axle grease into a leg. And Mark Clonus, that's what he did with his as well. There we go. So you can take her, and she can be a leg instead, just like the other two. But I like to use her for something else, which you will see soon. But we're going to set her aside for right now. Now that we have the legs done, we're just going to set them aside from now. And I like to go right leg, left leg for this one. Next, we're going to go ahead and take off the Junkasaurus head. And what I did for his head was I took, of course, the chompy mouth here, and I took Axel Grease's blasters, and on this peg right here, put them in like so. And now it's kind of like Junkasaurus has eyes, and now you got these cool little cheek blasters as well on the side of the mouth, and then you still got the big chompy mouth going. So that way it's almost kind of like eyes on Junkasaurus, and just mixes it up a little bit. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to untab this section. We're going to pull these legs off, and then we're going to split them apart and swap them. So then we're going to take this little peg right here. That's going to peg in on that center peg. Bend that knee joint like so. Do the same thing over here. Peg that on. And then there's more of the legs built. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to untab that section, untab that, pull these off like so, and then tab that piece in up at the top, split these around. Oh wait, no, leave those facing forward. And then these are going to peg on right here. Here we go. And there is his head pretty much all done. And then we're going to bring those leg bits down there like so. And the rest is pretty much going to stay as it is. We're going to bring these up just a little bit because those are going to be part of the arms. Take these two pieces apart. Swap these over to opposite sides. And then peg these facing out like so. Then we're going to take these little tow hook arms, and those are going to connect onto the bumper bits like so. And then we're going to take Crash Bar and start disassembling Crash Bar as much as we can. Take all that off, all that off. I haven't really found a good use for Crash Bar's torso for Junkasaurus because there's only so many male connector pegs between all of the pieces we get here, and they're pretty important, and you're gonna pretty much utilize all of them. Take Crash Bar's blasters, line them up with the two pegs on the side of the legs there, and peg those on. Set those like so. Take these, connect them on these lower pegs. So there's that section like so. Next, we're going to go ahead and start working on the arms. So take these little bits right here, extend this peg all the way up as far as we can get it, and then we're going to flip that around. Take this arm, and this is going to peg right there like so. Oop. And you're going to have pieces untab on you and come apart, and things are going to fall over, and it's going to be a whole thing. So just be ready for that. Do the same thing over here. Extend that other all the way around, and then take that, peg that on, reassemble Junkasaurus, which is funny is it's still in character with the Junkions that this is still falling apart, even though I wish some of these connections could be a little bit more secure and a little bit better. It is what it is. And then we're going to take Crash Bar's arms and unfold those all the way like so. Have it to where this peg is facing up, because then we're going to peg on that shoulder end like so, And then you can open this up, and it's like he's got this interesting looking claw hand using the tire, and everything else do the same thing over here. Peg that on. There we go. And then we're going to take our hooks, kind of give him like talons. For each arm. And what's cool about these little arm connectors right here is you can really get some interesting arms and arm poses out of it. And the other reason why, and I told you I'd circle back to this, the other reason why I kind of hope we get another crash bar type Junkion or another smaller motorcycle type Junkion is so that we can have better arms than the ones I came up with, just because, yes, I could probably use axle grease and crash bar as individual arms and do a more Scramble City-esque 5-man team where each is a limb, but that didn't really seem all that fun to me, and I really wanted to focus on the dinosaur made of junk aspect of this character. So that's kind of why I went with the claw type arms, which I thought was kind of interesting and neat. Okay, now for axle grease. Take those off. Open the arms like so. And then bend those down. And attach this feet section to the arms like so. And then, oh, I have this upside down actually. Do it the other way. Rotate those arms. There we go. It took me a while to come up with this configuration. A lot longer than I expected to. Just experiment with it. Try different things, see what works for you, see what looks cool to you, because the nice thing about this play pattern and this type of combiner, there's no right way or wrong way to do it. And that's the other reason why I kind of like how Hasbro handled this set of characters, is it just gave the collector the freedom to choose how their combiner turned out, which I thought was kind of neat. And as you can see, this is going to be the back and tails section of Junkasaurus. And now we're going to go through and we're going to add our tailpipes here, our exhaust pipes, to this tail section. And as you can see, this is what I was talking about earlier with having it have these Godzilla-like spines, like so, which I hope y'all find kind of cool. I thought it was kind of a cool way to handle that. And then you want to put the crash bar pipes here. Marclonus has them coming off the side of the cheek along with some more of these, but I just thought it looked cooler to have them as spines instead of having them up on the side of the head. And then you want to pinch together these legs and connect this section like so. So there's the back. And now we can just put the legs back on. Junkasaurus. And there is my take of Junkasaurus in his combined dinosaur junk robot mode. Not perfect, I know. Not amazing, I know. But still kind of neat. I still really like the concept of these. And then for decoration, I like to put these on the side of the legs, but I also like to mix match them so that they don't just blend in and so they stick out. So it's also got, like, he's got these cool little ankle spurs on his dino mode legs. And he's got a decent amount of articulation in this mode as well. Head can go up and down. Jaw still opens and closes. You have this shoulder joint right here. You have another secondary joint right here. Now, this one doesn't articulate as far as this one because you've got the peg for where these two pieces combine together for dump truck mode and for the front of the bumper of Trashmaster there. And then you've got a swivel joint here, a swivel joint here. You can kind of spread out how these arms go. You've got the swivel joint here, here. You've got a couple of elbow joints there from the robot mode of Crash Bar there. You can articulate the wheels in. You can still fan out the blades of the other arm. And overall, I think it makes for a interesting looking combiner. I wish I could make the tail come out just a little bit farther than it does. Maybe I could just slide this section down a little bit. Well, then again, maybe not quite. Like I said, play with it, see what you think, come up with that combination, and post on your social media and tag us so we can see your Junkasaurus combination and see what kind of awesome monstrosity you can build too. What did you think of the Legacy Evolution Junkions as a whole? Do you like them individually? Do you like the idea of them becoming a combiner? Or do you wish there was a little bit more structure and more of a solid take on what Junkasaurus is supposed to look like? Or do you like making it your own and just coming up with your own cool combination? Let us know in the comments down below. Stay tuned for more Transformers reviews. Like and subscribe and follow us on social media like I mentioned earlier. And check out our sister website and channel, cooltoyreview.com, for all kinds of daily toy news, reviews, and more. And if you like Star Wars content, check out rebelscum.com, the world's oldest and largest Star Wars fan website not owned by Disney. They have daily Star Wars toy news, reviews, and more on rebelscum.com. And make sure you like and subscribe to their social media and YouTube channel for that awesome Star Wars video content. If you're looking for some Transformers toys and merch, come by our physical location inside Order 66 Multiverse in the shops at Willowbend Mall in Plano, Texas, which also houses Order 66 Toys, the world's official all-collectible Star Wars toy store. And in case you're not local, they go live every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Order 66 Toys Facebook page, and they ship all around the world. Check out our free archival website, collectorsoracle.com. It has mostly Star Wars toy lines and collectibles on it for right now, but it's free to use. You can mark things that you have in your collection. You can write in the condition and how you have them. You could even mark things you don't have in your collection that you would like to have. You can share those lists with friends, family, and collectors alike on social media, and it's all absolutely free. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. Transform and roll out.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.